All right, we got
Is that my
Sherrod and
guy?
Perk. They have good.
Is that my
That's your
guy?
boy. That's your boy.
The one and
What's up,
only
my dude?
Sherrod?
What's up, my dude?
Man, I can't call it. If I had your hands, I'd cut mine off.
Oh, my brother, like no other. My brother like no other. What's going on with you, man?
Man, I can't call it. Just watching a little basketball. This is my favorite part of the year when it, started to get down to the regular season. Teams starting to fight for playoff position. Teams fighting to get in the play in. I'm seeing a lot of competitive basketball, man.
Man, this that grind season, man. This is when you got to grind it out.
Absolutely.
Didn't like what I saw today, though.
Well, I mean, I'll give them a pass today.
Why?
Cause for the simple fact that it be like that. You just can't make shots. Like Marcus Smart couldn't make shots. They were totally disrespecting them, leaving them wide open. They weren't even challenging his shots. He just couldn't make. Nobody really could make. Nobody could catch a rhythm really, except for Peyton Pritchard. Besides Jayson Tatum, so it happens like that. I thought they fought well though.
Man, it just felt like Groundhog's Day. Like we've seen this movie a few times. Get down, make it interesting. Couple turnovers here, missed shot there. Next thing you know, you lose by 5.
I get it. I understand completely where you're coming from, but it's just you get down, you waste so much energy actually trying to get back into the game, and then everybody look at the end of the game and see the fourth quarter mistakes, or may see Jayson Tatum missing free throws, but everyone forget about what happened in the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter. Like it was 5 or 6, maybe 7 points throughout those quarters that the Celtics probably shouldn't have given up. I mean, they gave up 32 points on a fast break today.
Right.
Transition. But that goes to just show you the importance of Jaylen Brown, because tonight he would have definitely had 10 to 15 points just in transition alone.
Yeah, because Jaylen's a matchup problem for folks when it comes to transition game. Strong enough to finish.
Inviting people in here to ask Perk questions for as long as he wants to hang out with us. So the rules here are request to speak. Nick, if you make me the host here, I can manage the rest of the chat. Request to speak. We're going to put you up in the room. Just mute yourself until we call your name. And when we do, fire away and ask Perk anything you want to ask. You guys have already kind of been going, but Perk, what was your overall vibe here? I don't know. Was this mad Perk tonight, or were you? Are you forgiving them for having so many guys missing? We were trying to figure out what kind of vibe we wanted to have tonight on the post game. I think people were mainly mad.
Well, they shouldn't be. I think the Celtics should get a pass tonight.
You get a pass?
But yeah, playing back to back. I thought they played with a lot of effort. They just couldn't make shots, and turnovers hurt them obviously. But at the end of the day, all you want to do is give yourself a chance to win the game, and I thought they did just that. They gave themselves a shot to win the game. They easily could have packed it in when they got down 17, 18 points. And I thought Brad did a great job of just trying to find different lineups that work. When he went small, putting Jabari Parker at the 5, I thought that was a great adjustment by Brad. He's really elevated his game a lot this season, by the way. This second part of the season, because at first I was questioning the hell out of Brad before that.
Wow. So Perk, you may or may not know, but we're global on this show. So we got people from all over. I got Anas here from Australia. Anas, you got a question for Perk? Anas, are you there? All right, we're going to switch it up. We're going to go with Dave. Dave, are you there? Dave, you got a question for Perk?
What's up, Dave?
None. But I was just wondering how you felt about using Kemba more of like a Steph Curry role where he moves off the ball and maybe getting a more active off the ball and setting screens and stuff like how Steph could do. But I don't know if that would be the best, but I just want to know if anybody else had like an opinion on that.
Well, I don't believe Kemba is that type of player. I think Kemba is more of a rhythm type player where he likes to have the ball in his hand, get a good rhythm, feel good, whether it's a hezzy between the legs, step back. That's Kemba game. Him moving without the ball. I mean, I'm not saying he can't do it. I just don't think that's one of his specialties. And when you look at Steph Curry, he's just a generational talent. He moves extremely well without the ball, but Kemba is more so a guy that you got to put the ball in his hands. And as of late, it's been working. I mean, I love the way we already know he got the pull up game. We know he knows he can come off of screens and pull up for the three. But I've been more impressed with how he's been attacking downhill and how he's been finishing in the paint. So with that being said, I think, it's times, and I think they're starting to figure it out where Jaylen, Jayson, and Kemba don't need to defer to each other. They just need a hoop offensively. Hoop and make the right plays. And just because, Brad may call a play for you, that doesn't mean it's your shot, if that makes sense. So, you could make a hell of a play and come downhill, draw a double team, kick out for a three, that's even better. So just because it's your play doesn't mean it's your shot. And I think that's the growth we've been seeing over the past couple of weeks where, we watched Jayson Tatum go for 50 and Jaylen Brown and Kemba take a back seat. We watched Kemba go off the other night and Jayson Tatum take a back seat and wasn't tripping. We watched Jaylen Brown go off and Kemba and JT take a back seat. So, you know, every night is not going to be your night to have an historical night offensively. But if you're the other two, what can you do to affect the game? Can you take 4 charges like Kemba did? Can you go grab 10 boards? Can you dish out 11 dimes? Like, I think that's the major improvement the second part of the season that I've seen through the Celtics. But to answer your question, I just think that Kemba, man, he's a guy that, he's from New York. He needs the ball in his hands. He's a rhythm guy.
Perk, I got a question for you. You said you were mad. You almost got mad at Brad tonight. What did Brad do to make you mad?
Did I?
Yeah, I think so. Did you not say that a second ago?
I know I'm country, but I don't remember saying. I said he made some. I said he made some great adjustments
Oh, he
tonight.
made great adjustments.
Yeah, he made some great adjustments. Now I said I've been mad at Brad in the past.
Oh, in the past.
Yeah, but I'm not. I was like over the past few weeks. I think he's did a great job for us. His rotations.
Well, what's your take on the turnovers? Because this is win and lose. This has been a massive problem. Like what's happening late in the game there that's causing kind of just sloppy ball handling. Marcus throws the ball out of bounds today. Jayson had a couple of late, and obviously Jayson played an awesome game. But those turnovers late when you're trying to make a game out of it are just killer.
Yeah, they're draining. But in Marcus' defense, that wasn't his fault. That was Evan Fournier's fault. I mean,
Yeah.
we're taught to when the ball is on strong side and then swing, and you see a guy rotating, that quick pass to the corner is there. And if Evan Fournier would have been standing in this spot, that he would have had a wide open three. That comes with trust. But when you look at turnovers, and especially the ones that the Celtics be having, to me, that's more so Brad needing to address that more. You know what I mean? Like too much. It's too loose. They're too loose with the ball, too careless at times, and it hurt them. And it hurt them tonight. I mean, and I think a lot of times in trouble with turnovers when they try to make the home run pass instead of making a simple pass, like the hockey assist, the assist that lead to the actual assist. They want the assist, like they want to drive and pass it to the shooter so that they could get the assist instead of making a simple play.
So, like, if you got mad at them over turnovers, like you did at Tatum, do you think they would stop?
I don't know if they would stop, but I mean, sooner or later they gotta see it. They gotta look themselves in the mirror. Like if I'm Brad and I'm going back over the last 2 games and I'm pulling up film even or whenever, just this game. And I'm showing film tomorrow if he do. Maybe they might have the day off, but come and shoot around, I'm gonna show film. I'm gonna show all the turnovers and just tell guys like this can't happen. It can't happen.
Yeah. Sherrod, before I bring in more people here to ask Kendrick Perkins questions, and again, everybody in the room here, Kendrick Perkins, 2008 NBA champion, Boston Celtics. You can catch him on ESPN. You can catch him on NBC Sports Boston doing a post-game show. And you can catch him every once in a while here on Locker Room with us following Celtics games. He's going to join us a couple more times during the season. If you have questions, line it up. We'll put you up there. Just make sure you're muted. Sherrod, anything you got for Perk right now before we bring in more people?
Oh, absolutely. I always got something for the big fella. Hey, Perk, we have had lots of conversations among ourselves and with the fans about Grant Williams.
Mm-hmm.
What is your take on Grant Williams and what he's bringing to the table this season? Because he doesn't seem like the same kind of impact we saw last season from him.
Well, now what Grant has to realize is that. Well, first let me say this: Grant defensively, if he's locked in, he's a guy that could guard 1 through 5.
If he's locked in, okay.
If he's locked in, the thing that why I give Grant a pass, and I know he's a professional, he's supposed to stay ready, but as a basketball player, it's hard to play when you don't know if you're going to play that night or not, right? He's a guy that may get 3 DMPs and all of a sudden his name is called. Like, you can't really get a true rhythm like that. And then there's times I didn't saw where Grant didn't play well and then he didn't got DMPs. That's deflating. Offensively, people are starting, now that Grant is playing more. See, like last year, earlier in the season, Grant Williams was able to get away with a lot of things because he wasn't a focal point in a scouting report. But now that he is, right before the game, he's on that film. So they're taking away his strengths. They're saying close out all the way, make him drive left. And now it's on him to add more to his game and go back and study film to say, you know what, okay, they're doing this to me now. How can I counter this? How can I counter if they close out hard to me on the 3-point line, take away me driving right? How about I go quick dribble handoff with Kemba, JT, and have him come back off, knock a roll to the basket. If I set a good screen, I could have a wide open layup or wide open dunk. But just like the layup he missed today or the dunks per se, that's all about confidence. And I think the only time that Grant plays bad is when Grant gets in Grant way, right, in his own head. So, in a way,
to this team. Second question I have for you, because this is locker room and we transparent here, bro. Yo, man, when's the last time you talked to Paul, man? How's he doing?
man, Paul, all right, man. I talk to Paul like twice a week, man. P doing him right now, man. You know what I mean? So he living, you know what I mean? I'm not the one to judge. I feel like, as guys, we all that pathway before. I mean, we all probably, went out and about and did things. Do I think what he did was right? I mean, nah. But my grandpa used to always tell me, "It ain't what you do, it's how you do it." If that makes sense. But man, to get to your point, if I'm Danny, right? If I'm Danny, I'm evaluating the bench, but first I got to see what's out there, right? I got to see what's out there, and I got to see what fits. Okay, I don't want to bring in too much because I don't want to take away anything from Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, right? My 2 young superstars that haven't even scratched the surface of their prime. That's the first thing. I got to give a before I do anything else to the bench. I got to look at Kemba. I got to give a hard look at Kemba and say, all right, if we don't win a championship or make it to the finals this year,
people in here to ask Perk questions.
Kemba is the one. Because if you look at it at the young core, you look at Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum, Robert Williams. Peyton Pritchard. He's a flat out stud. Those four guys to me is the foundation. If I'm looking at the team, those four guys right there are the foundation of the Boston Celtics because anybody else on that roster could be replaced, right? But I'm looking at it, you got to start from somewhere, just like Golden State did. They started with Clay and Steph and Draymond. Draymond, second round pick. They build the foundation, they build culture. So you look at those four young guys, and that I'm looking at the bench, and to be honest, man, I actually I Luke Kornet brings to the table. I
Yeah.
actually
Oh
think
no.
I no
You can
I
say,
no I
or
really
I
do.
am not
Oh,
saying
And,
damn.
You
anything.
shouldn't have said that.
and,
Damn.
and listen, let me tell you why
Break
though.
it down.
It's not that it's not that he just could stretch the floor. But if you watch him when he played the game of basketball, he gets in the game and the game changes because he's not going to do anything outside his body. He up, and then your center position is solidified, and then you have a Luke Kornet. Now, what the Celtics need to add is some shooting. They got to add shooting, and at some point, Marcus Smart is going to have to get reevaluated. Although I feel like as of right now, he is the heart and soul of the team. No one could tell me anything different. But it comes a time where you have to make tough decisions, right? And if you got a player out there that's going to improve your team and you might have to give up Marcus Smart, I mean, it's just part of the business. But I feel like he's also one that you're going to have to go back to the drawing board and reevaluate because he's also coming up for a contract. Uh, his contract is soon to be up.
Yeah, we've talked about that a lot, Perk, on the show. It's you're not trading Jaylen, you're not trading Jayson. So really, when you look down the roster, the only other person of actual value is probably Marcus, and that's kind of why his name might have come up in trade deadline talks this year, even though Danny says he wasn't really mentioned. His name's going to come up in the offseason. Real quick, we're going to bring in some more people in here, and again, Perk, I know you're with us for as long as you want to be, but when
I'm
you're
good,
ready to
good
when you're
man.
ready to bow out, man, just say,
Yeah,
"Hey guys, I'm
I,
gonna wrap it up," and that's
I,
cool.
nah, I'm good, man. It's Friday night. I got my feet kicked up and I'm wiggling my toes, man.
I knew it. I said his
I
feet
could
are
talk
definitely up.
basketball all night.
Love it, love it. All right, so I want to tell you, we welcomed in Bobby Manning and Jimmy Toscano, who are also on our post game show. Bobby, Jimmy, if you guys have anything you want to throw at Perk
What
before
up?
we open it up for the rest of the guys here, fire away.
Bobby
Oh,
Jimmy, what's happening?
What up,
Kendrick,
Big Perk?
it was music to my ears on this program. When I mentioned the name Luke Kornet, everybody starts laughing. But to have an NBA champion affirm that take, I mean, this guy brings something to the table.
You have validated Bobby's existence with that Perk.
Uh,
Just so
I
you know.
mean, you know what's crazy is that Bobby, great minds think alike. When they
Oh
traded,
no.
Yes, sir.
listen, when they traded Daniel Tice, and I know everybody was high or everybody was kind of familiar with Mo Wagner, right? And I said it. I said, man, a person that y'all don't need to sleep on is Luke Kornet. And the reason being is when I was in the G League, I played against him. And I know it was the G League, but I just remember like he had like 28 points, man, and he was lighting it up from the three, and he was doing all type of special things, like but playing within himself. And that's what you want when you're trying to win a championship. You want guys that you could trust that are going to be stars in their role, right? They're going to be stars in their role, not try to do things out of body, but guys who are going to go out there and you know what you're going to get out of them night in and night out. They're not going to try to be something that they're not. And I think Luke Kornet fits that role perfectly, especially. And like once again, I'm not saying he's a starter. I'm not saying he's a second string guy, but I am saying if you have injuries and one of your big men go down for 2 weeks, he's a guy that could come in and fill that void.
So here's my question for you, Perk, and I'm gonna let some other people jump in here too. I'm gonna bring it back to Jayson Tatum. We saw him play so inconsistently throughout this year. bunch of turnovers some nights, struggle to shoot other nights, and just, as a whole, struggle to lead this team. And we've talked about the makeup of this team. Are they coachable? Can they be a consistent group? Can they get past 500? And you were a guy who was able to break through to him. You guys chatted on the phone. He took your criticism to heart, and it felt like he made some switch ups here in April that have brought him back to that All NBA level. What do you guys talk about, and what do you think has changed for him this month?
Well, I mean, our conversation, I got a lot of respect for JT. He is beyond. He has an old soul, like my grandparents used to say. He is not your average youngster. He's very mature, and he called me, and it wasn't no beef or no fussing or fighting. He just asked me, "Perk, man, I'm sitting up here, I'm averaging this, I'm doing this." I said, "JT, first of all, let me tell you, man, I've been one of your biggest fans. I just expect more." And what I broke it down to him is I said, "I just see you settling for jumpers when I feel like you could be getting to the free throw line. When you're driving downhill, no one could stop you. I feel like when you settle for those sidestep 3-point jump shots, you're building the defense out. Although you may hit some, I get that you're so talented, but we all have to remember that when the media in the world mentions Jayson Tatum, they mention Jayson Tatum, Zion Williamson, Luka Doncic, Devin Booker, all the young stars that are under the age of 25. So with that being said, is that I have high expectations for Jayson Tatum. I wouldn't have never called him out if I didn't think he could elevate his game even more. And like I told him, I'm on record plenty of times saying that Jayson Tatum is that dude. Like, is one of the best scorers in the game today. And so when he has those droughts, when he don't put up those 40s and 50s, people are like, "Come on now, Perk. People averaging 25 and they sleep right now." And that's true. So I knew Jayson Tatum had it in him. And I wasn't calling him out to say, or try to be disrespectful. I'm just like up it even more because I was watching his body language on the floor, when he wasn't getting calls, and he still don't get calls like he should. But I was watching him hang his head, complain to the ref, not sprint back on defense. And what people have to realize is that that's contagious, okay? Like, if role players and other guys see their superstars doing that, they gonna think it's okay for them to do that. Now you have a whole team full of guys that have bad body language and not getting back in transition, which has been one of the Celtics' weakest points on the defensive end, is not getting back in transition. So with that being said, man, he responded like a true professional. And like I said, I gave him props when props was due. I said, "Hey, you responded like you were supposed to. We know you're a young king, a young superstar. Keep doing it."
Perk, I'm glad to hear you say that because we talked about that a lot, and like the body language thing. That's a real. It's nice to hear that a player would say that is a real thing. Some people think that's a media-driven narrative. It's like looking at somebody's body language. But again, with Tatum, the turnaround from the point that you talk to him is noticeable, and I think that has to help pick up some of the younger guys. You got a lot of guys on this team right now that if your leader is sulking, it's going to be hard for them to put their best foot forward. Jimmy, I wanted to see if you wanted to say anything here before we open up to the rest of the chat.
Yeah, kind of almost playing off what Perk just said. I mean, Perk, you were on some unreal teams in Boston. You guys had the Ubuntu going pretty strong for a few years there. So you know what it is to be on a tight-knit team and a team that's like a brotherhood. And I know you've been on a lot of other teams too. Do you see that with this Celtics team and over not just this season, but the last couple seasons? I don't know if you sense like the closeness between them, like they are like kind of brothers, or do you think there's too much of a disconnect amongst themselves to take it to that next level where the great teams go?
Well, one thing you could always see is that the eyes will never lie, right? The eye test. And a team that's together, you could see when you're not on the floor, right? When you're not on the floor and your teammates are out there having success and balling out of control, just look at the bench. If the bench is up going crazy, then it's chemistry there. If someone is on fire and you're on the court with them and they may make a shot and you happen to be the one that yell and scream for them, like, yeah, it's chemistry there. If a guy falls on the floor or gets fouled and one of your teammates is down and you see four guys sprinting to help him up, it's chemistry there. So it ain't rocket science. And to be honest, I didn't see that chemistry there 2 months ago. I see it there now. I see guys up and cheering. I see guys diving on the floor. I see guys sprinting, helping the helper. And I'm gonna say this: Tristan Thompson has been phenomenal for what he's brought to the table for his tenacity. You know what you're going to get out of him night in and night out. And I get it. Every now and then he gets outside of his body, right? He tries to attack from the high post and go in and out. He tries to do things that a lot of people be like, no, Tristan, just go pick and roll. But one thing about it, he's going to get you those extra possessions. He's going to bring that edge. He's like that big brother, just like we saw against Phoenix, the end of the game. He was ready to fight. That's the type of leader you want. That's a guy you want to go to war with that knows he's going to bring it on the court and he got your back 110%.
Yeah, post COVID, like since that COVID layoff for Tristan, I think this is the best version they've seen of him all season long.
Well, you know what's interesting, John, is that's another guy who got called out in the media. And Perk called out Tatum. Smart heard what we were saying about him here on this program, and I find that has to be different than when you played, Perk. I mean, like, you guys weren't on your phones all the time. You didn't even have social media the way it is now, and it feels like a lot of guys get that criticism through social media. Did you guys hear outside criticism as much when you were playing?
Well, I actually embraced outside criticism because it motivated me. KG used to always tell me and Rondo when we had good games, he was like, "All right, now you see how y'all running to go look at NBA TV and Sports Center because y'all had some good numbers. When y'all had the bad numbers, make sure y'all go do the same. Use that as motivation." That always stuck with me. So I always wanted to hear the negative things because I always wanted to be that guy to prove people wrong. So when I was getting heat, or I might have got heat for someone saying, "Man, Perk was horrible at defending the pick and roll." I would lose sleep that night, and I would be like, "All right, bet that next game I'm gonna show you what's up." You know what I mean? So, but now I think it's getting a little bit out of control. Towards the end of my career, I remember I was on the Pelicans and I would walk in the locker room at halftime, and guys were literally scrolling on their phones, like literally scrolling on their phones on social media. And I'm sitting up here looking like, man, are y'all serious right now? And it's just part of it. It's right there.